So today we're looking at an industry that is, it's trapped in this supreme paradox.
Right.
It's 2026. Oil extraction has this level of surgical precision that would have been science fiction just a decade ago.
Mm.
But at the exact same time, the whole sector is staring down a pretty serious existential crisis.
It really is. It's this tension between, total technical mastery and this feeling of impending obsolescence.
So the capability has never been higher.
Never. But the moral and, frankly, the economic ground beneath the rigs is just crumbling away.
And we need to get rid of that wildcatter myth right away. The idea of some guy just drilling and hoping.
Oh, that's long gone. This isn't hunting anymore. It's pure manufacturing.
Exactly. We're talking about something called extended reach drilling, ERD. There's this one project, Sakhalin-1 in Russia.
Yeah, that's a perfect example.
They drilled a well over 7.5 miles.
Horizontally.
Just to hit a target without even needing an offshore platform. It's incredible. And that's the key shift, you see. It's all about risk reduction. So how are they doing that?
They're using what they call multilateral architectures. Just picture a fishbone pattern deep underground.
Okay.
A single pad on the surface can now drain square miles of rock by just branching out.
Which changes the entire economic model. There's no downtime. I read that some onshore rigs can literally walk between wellheads.
They can. It's an assembly line. You're not hoping to find oil anymore. You are, for all intents and purposes, printing it.
But here's the thing, that factory model efficiency, it's flooding the market.
And that is completely destabilizing the traditional geopolitical order. Just look at Guyana.
The poster child for this Atlantic Basin surplus, their GDP per capita, it's skyrocketed from $6,000 in 2019 to
nearly $33,000 in 2024.
That's warp speed development.
It is, but it brings that classic risk of duck disease, where that one industry just suffocates everything else. And while Guyana is flooding the Atlantic market, you have something much darker happening in the east.
The dark fleet.
Exactly.
And we should be clear, this is not just a few rogue ships.
No, it's a massive shadow economy. It was designed specifically to bypass Western sanctions on Russia. We're talking aging, uninsured tankers, moving millions of barrels to China and India.
The risk there has to be enormous.
It's not just geopolitical. It's environmental. If one of these uninsured rust buckets breaks apart, who's accountable? Nobody.
But China gets its energy.
For them, it's about resilience right now, not market efficiency or insurance protocols.
So the market is completely fractured.
Totally. And that makes it almost impossible for OPEC to control prices the way they used to.
Let's talk about the cost of this efficiency on the ground, though. In a place like the Bakken region, you see this boomtown syndrome. The industry shows up, and suddenly violent crime in those counties spikes, 18–19%?
It's a complete distortion of the local reality. You get these man camps, housing crises, infrastructure just collapses under the weight of it all.
And that's not even touching the environmental legacy like the Amazonian scar in Ecuador.
With the Chevron legacy, yeah. Toxic water, birth defects. It's a very heavy price.
And what's so frustrating is that some of this damage is just inefficient.
That's the maddening part. Take methane emissions. The data shows 50% of them could be cut by 2030 just by fixing leaks.
It literally pays for itself.
It does. In captured product. But the investment is sluggish.
That inefficiency, it feels like a symptom of the carbon bubble, doesn't it? This idea of stranded assets.
That's the financial reckoning that's coming. Trillions of dollars are tied up in these upstream projects that, if we actually meet climate targets, will never be profitable.
So it's like Wile E. Coyote running off the cliff.
Exactly. He's still running, but he's about to look down and realize there's no ground left.
Which brings us to the biggest ethical standoff of all, the just transition.
Right.
You have the global south looking at the U.S. and Europe and basically saying, wait, you got rich burning this for a century and now you want to ban it.
They see it as green colonialism. You can see their point. They argue they have a sovereign right to use their resources to lift their people out of poverty.
So it's a complete deadlock. High-tech extraction, a shadow economy, a moral stalemate.
And the industry is bifurcating, splitting into a clean energy economy and then this hydrocarbon economy that's just trying to manage its own decline.
Which leaves us with the final question for you to think about. Is the era of oil actually ending? Or are we just entering a long, complex twilight where the drill bit keeps turning even as the moral ground shifts right under it?
That's the question for the next decade, isn't it?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.